Today, we're talking about camera angles. Hi, I'm David Stern from Cleveland Creative Outlet. Thank you so much for coming back. I'm really excited for what I have to share with you today. We're going to be talking about shot composition yet again this week, in the second in our shot composition series. When you think about camera angles that a camera is capable of, it seems like the possibilities are limitless, but a lot of people are very unsure as to where to start. Let's start with one axis at a time. The first axis we're going to talk about is the y-axis, basically how high or how low the camera is. For argument's sake, we're going to talk about only human subjects because the same principles can be applied to other subject matter. There are basically three ways that you could go about filming a human subject. The first would be at eye level or slightly above eye level. This is the usual recommendation because it makes people look very good. You give a good jawline to the person. The nose is usually pretty good. Maybe not in my case. It makes their cheekbones look good. People always look best when at eye level or slightly above. This is the second option. Do a very high camera angle. It puts the camera in a position of power. People who are filmed in a high camera angle are inferior to the camera. They are physically lower than the camera. If you want to show your subject as being physically weak, oppressed, not a strong figure, you film them from above. The other thing that it does, in a sort of a similar vein, is it makes them look cute. Kind of squishes our proportions in a way that is very similar to the way a baby looks. So when I look straight forward, my eyes and my mouth and my nose are very squished together compared to the top of my head. Those facial proportions are actually very similar to a baby's. This is the third position on the y-axis, and this is a low camera angle. And as you can see, it kind of makes me look like a giant. You'd use a low camera angle, generally speaking, when you want to put the subject into a position of power. People generally also don't like to be filmed from below because it does all of the opposite things that we talked about previously with the other positions. It destroys the jawline. You're looking directly up the nose so you can see right into my nostrils. It does not frame the face well at all. It makes you look older. It makes you look less happy. So you have to use it very carefully. If they catch you just at the right moment, you'll look really heroic and strong, but in other instances, if you are like caught mid-word, you'll be seen as very untrustworthy. So be very careful with low camera angles. The only other coordinate that we should be talking about right now is the yaw axis, and that looks something like this. Never tilt the camera. That's the rule. Everything else is an exception. The reason is that the cases in which you would want to tilt the camera are far and few between. So just as a general rule, don't do it. Stay away. Which of these two shots looks more peaceful? This one. Or this one. Did you notice that the second shot looked way more creepy? Did you feel that there was some sort of tension in the shot? I'll play it again, this time without any music. Stable shots, shots that are very steady, they put the viewer at ease. So always keep your shots as level as possible. So camera angle is not terribly complicated. People do tend to overthink it. The question mostly comes down to how high off the ground do you want the camera and at what position do you want to shoot your subject. That's really mostly it. It mostly comes down to your gut feeling and what you feel looks good. When it comes to creating beautiful images, I like to paraphrase Winston Churchill. Whether you think you can, or whether you think you can't, you're right. So that's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, share it across social media. I'll see you in the next one. And I gotta get inside before it starts raining because it is looking stormy out here. So I will see you next time. This is Matt.
Kind of like this.
He's one of our cameramen.
My neighbor can knock.
He's going to be shooting an ad for Rabbi Landis of Partners in Torah. Matt is going to talk to you for a second about camera framing. I haven't briefed him at all, so everything that he says is what he actually believes and does. Watch what he says.
You know, making sure his eyes are in the top third of the screen, and using this slider here to kind of make it a little more dynamic, get a little bit of movement in there. Okay, yeah, rule of thirds is just a really basic idea of framing up your shots, and if used properly, it can really make a shot or break it. It can make it, you know, look absolutely stunning. I like to try to keep my subject in like one of the thirds, as far as, you know, right or left, and then you know, always keeping the head and the eyes in the top third. Sometimes I'll cut off a little bit of the head, but for the most part I like to leave just a little bit of headspace at the top.